Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Hang on. Turn the fans off. Absolutely necessary. Oh, God. It's not one thing, it's another. I will put the camera down and shut down the hydrofogger. It's not required. Oh. Anything else want to switch on while you're there? It's a real pain with the hydrofogger because it has no switch. So the only way I can turn it off is to turn off the actual hydrostat, and then all the settings are lost. It doesn't hold them. Or unplug it. And unfortunately, unplugging it and plugging it back in is a pain. So I've ordered online an inline switch that I can just wire into the cable so that I can just flick a switch and turn it on and off and not have to struggle pulling a plug in and out. Fans obviously have their own individual switches, and the inlet and extractor fans, the actual thermostat that they're on, I can actually turn that off, and when it comes back on it's retained all its settings. And it does that permanently. And I think for a little cheap unit, that's pretty special. Anyway, as you know, I put some plants into the virtual Orchid Society meeting plant competition that we normally have at a meeting. And people bring their plants physically in. So they have to be right on the night. Now, unfortunately, with the virtual competition, some people could have taken advantage there and actually pictured a plant, you know, a couple of weeks in advance that on the night would have gone over. But nonetheless, that's the way they arranged it. And they had to change the rules basically because some people only put pictures of the blooms in, not the plant. So they couldn't be judged the normal way. So they took away all the points to do with the plant, the culture, the cultivation, all that sort of stuff, and just left the points that go with the blooming. You know, quality of blooms, colour, number of blooms, size of blooms, all that sort of stuff, and judged it on those points, which got me all very confused at first, I must admit. But anyway, I put in my Laelia cattleya, the bright red one with the tall sturdy blooms on, many but not large, and as you know I put in my Dendrobium jenkinsii in. They both, obviously they go in the class that I'm in, and I got a first and a third, but I got them the other way round. The red cattleya got the first and the Dendrobium jenkinsii got the third. But one interesting thing that I noticed is that it's actually Siang Yu red pearl red butterfly or something like that. Anyway, that's the one that got the first in my class. Somebody else put the same plant in, but they were in the experience class, you know, for the bright sparks. And that got less points than mine did, which is quite interesting. So a first in the open class actually attained more points than somebody in the experience class with exactly the same plant. Mind you, Diane's plant did have 2 spikes on, mine only had 1. So anyway, that's the way it went. The newsletter that was done was very well organised, very well presented, but then I know who did it, and he's been doing that sort of thing an awful long time, and he's very good at it, so well done, Alan. Anyway, so that way round, my I'll show you it because it's in all its glory at the moment. There you go, that actually got a first a little while ago. But look how fast the stem dies back. Okay, the blooms have gone now, they haven't dropped, but they're dead. But look how fast that stem dies back. That's not that long ago, that was still red, not all brown and shriveled. Anyway, I just thought I'd give you an update, and well done, Christine. I've always said, you know, if you don't put your plant in, it ain't gonna win. Yeah, If you don't enter, you'll never know. And I mean, Christine's a good friend. You'll know her on the Facebook group. She's been missing for quite a while under understandable circumstances, but nonetheless is creeping back in slowly but surely. But yeah, she doesn't come to the meetings, although she's a member. She comes to some of the events like the Christmas do and coach trips and stuff. Oh, we're off on our coach trip this weekend, by the way. Not. That's all cancelled, obviously. But well done, Christine. You put a plant in, you got an award. And you didn't have to come to the meeting and carry it with you. So there are some advantages of this virtual meeting. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you know. I mean, I'm pleased I got a first and a third, but what I'm more pleased about is the wording of some of the emails that were flying around. I was worried that the newsletter was only going to contain the pictures of the winners. Now, that wouldn't have been very fair, because some people could have gone to an awful lot of trouble to create their photos to enter into the competition. And if it was a normal meeting, we'd all get a chance to view all of the entries on the competition tables. So if only the winners had been included in the newsletter, I personally would have had a bit of a moan, polite version, because some people could have put a lot of effort into their photographs. But everybody was included, so brilliant. That's what I was hoping for, that's what happened. Right, so that's that, and now, what is the time? My tea is long since gone down. That's coming up to about 6:30. So I'm going to go and settle down and find another film to watch. It's the new TV and sound system is a joy to watch and listen to. The content is not even that important, but because I've got access to now loads and loads of films without doing anything illegal, shall we say, I'm enjoying watching a film. And if I've got access to it, there's a brand new film on Netflix that came out today. Now, whether it came out today and I've got access to it in the UK or not, I don't know, but I shall go and have a look. And if it's available, that's the one I'm going to watch. If not, I'll find somewhere else. But the normal TV channels do not provide me with much entertainment in the evenings. I need a fair old bit to hold my interest, or I just go to sleep in the chair. And then when I wake up and I go to bed, I'm not tired anymore and I can't get to flipping sleep. So I'd rather have something to sit down and watch comfortably with a decent sound, really good picture that holds my attention. So we'll go and see if we can find something like that and settle down for the evening with the rest of my wine. Having had a nice tea, I had a nice good thick slice of Alaskan wild salmon with some boiled potatoes and peas, and I was very naughty and smothered him in butter. I don't care. It's my food for the day. And some wine, and I'll have some nuts to go with it. I might have some cheese and biscuits a bit later on. Depends how long the film is, I suppose. But it might seem really odd to a lot of people. I'm up naturally now because it's starting to get light at that time, around 5. Sometimes as late as 5:30, sometimes as fucking early as 4 o'clock. But if I wake up at 4 o'clock and I need to go to the loo, there's no point in going back to bed. I'm not going to go to sleep. I just won't get up and get on with my computer stuff. But my natural waking up time at the moment is around 5 in the morning. So by the time we get to about 9 o'clock in the evening, I've had enough. I'm starting to need to go to bed. And if I can sleep a lot of those hours between 9 and 5 in the morning, even though that might sound an early start to the day, I've had more than enough hours sleep. But it depends. I mean, sometimes I get disturbed nights, like a lot of us do when we get older. We wake up and we think, oh, hell, I'm going to have to get up. And then on the way back from the loo again, you have a look at your, well, I mean, I've got a phone that is my clock. I can't stand ticking clocks, and I can't stand clocks that I can see. It's much easier to just pick my phone up, which is touch sensitive. So if I pick it up, it lights up. And it tells me that it's 2:15 in the morning, which is followed by profanities and slump back into bed and put an effort into trying to go back to sleep. That doesn't happen every night, but when it does, I get what I call a disturbed night, because I can lose an hour, hour and a half, sometimes as much as 2 hours as a consequence of getting up in the middle of the night and then trying to get back to sleep again. But we do what we can. And when you're older, like me, you really don't need that amount of sleep, especially when you're not doing much all day long, which is exactly what I'm doing now. Anyway, I will see you again. I just thought I'd let you know that the virtual competition worked quite well. And if you're interested in the concept, the only problem is I don't know whether you've got to be a member or not, but the British Orchid Council are doing one. That'll be a big one. That'll be national. It's not just an orchid, well, it is just a sort of Orchid Society, but the British Orchid Council are our governing body in this country, who set the rules and all that sort of stuff. And the Orchid Societies around the country follow their guidance all the time, so they're quite a large body. And they have a congress each year. And this one, this year, has had to be cancelled. So they're going to try and do that virtually. That's going to be quite an effort. But it's going to be the same principle. You know, you're going to have to take pictures of your blooms. The only thing I don't know is, do you have to be a member or not to actually enter? I would imagine you do somehow. Otherwise, all and sundry will be at it. Anyway, I'm off, and do you know what's really catching my eye at the moment? It must be just the way the light is falling, because most people's eyes are drawn over here to the oranges and the yellows. And how many of you have noticed already? Yeah, it's going already, and it only just seems to have arrived. But that's what's catching my eye at the moment. It's just the way the light's falling on it, I think. I hope the camera picks that up. And did that last bud open? It did. Oh, I hadn't noticed. 1, 2, 3. I've got 6 blooms on my apple blossom. That's the first time ever. I think the most I've ever had, 3, possibly 4, 6 this year. And I'm over the moon. That's one of the original apple blossoms. It's got the original colour scheme, which has got tinges of yellow, tinges of pink, deep yellow in the throat, and a good pinky purpley colour on the lip. Well, that was one of the original colours, because it is infinitely variable, and if the cross is redone, it'll be variable again, and that's where all the named clones are coming from, of which there are a lot, and they do vary a lot. Some of them have lost their pink and they're almost white with yellow. Some have got more yellow, less pink. Some are more pink and no yellow. There are a lot of varieties around now, but I like my original. That's looking good. And it's just the way the light's falling on it. Anyway, I'm going to go and search through the films. Well, first of all, try and find if this new one's actually available. And if it is, job done, press play, settle down. If not, I'll have to look through and see what else I can find. I'm bound to find something. And I will see you tomorrow for something. You'll have to wait and see. Bye for now. See you next time.